Friday morning, I woke up after I took my son to school. I decided to go ahead and go to the bank and cash a check that I received from Successful Kids and Families from some workout groups that I had already done, and also paid in advance for the other groups that I will be doing. And I went to my bank, which is Wells Fargo, to try to cash it with the drive-through teller, but instead of, I never looked at the check to see that it was from another institution, so she told me instead of them depositing the check and putting it on hold to just save time by going to First Citrus Bank to get the check cashed and just be on my way. So I decided to do that, and when I arrived to First Citrus, it was about 8:35, 8:40, and I got out of my car to go check the schedule to make sure that it did open at 9 like most banks do, and I went back to get in my car and just sit there, and I figured that I had extra time on my hands, so I was getting my school supplies and stuff ready because I was actually on my way to school to do a student clinic that we do, and so I decided to fold my sheets and straighten things up as just to throw away time. And I don't know who it was, but I don't know if she was the GM or another teller, but she arrived about 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, and she went inside. So once I was done, I just sat in my car until 9 o'clock, and when I got out my car to go to the door, she actually met me at the door as if she was waiting on me to come to the door, and didn't open it but kept the key in it and told me that they were having a problem. Would I mind going to the drive-through? And I told her no, I don't mind. So I went to the drive-through, and the 20 to 30 seconds that it took me to get around there, an older white guy was let in the bank just as I arrived to the drive-through window, and I handed the teller my check and my ID, and about 30 seconds later, a cop slowly drove up to my right side and kind of passed me, but then he stopped, and another one came in front of me and just eased on over. But the cop got out of his car and approached my window and just stood there for a minute and asked me what was I doing, and I told him what I was doing, and he was just standing there looking around my car as if he was trying to find a problem. And I asked him, "Is there a problem?" He said, "You were being suspicious." And then he changed it, and he said that they said you were being suspicious. So I asked him how, and he really couldn't give me an answer, and he asked me what was I doing again. I told him that I was waiting on the bank to open to cash a check because this wasn't my bank, so I wasn't sure if I could come to the drive-through teller, like if you have an account with them. Then he asked me for my ID, and I told him that the teller had it. I don't know if he heard me or not. Then he asked me for it again, and I told him that the teller had it. So he just stood there as if he was just trying to wait for something or trying to find a reason to tell me to get out of the car. And finally, when she did hand me the ID and the money, he backed off and tried to apologize very quickly after all that had happened. But at the same time, you approach me hand on pistol, just assuming that I'm there for no reason when I had no problem, didn't give anybody a problem, and I just arrived to the window just trying to cash a check for the work that I do.
And the teller who gave you the money and had your ID, was that the same person that you interacted with before it opened? Did she offer any explanation then?
No one in. There were 3 people inside the bank, and honestly, to me, that would have kind of made all of this seem okay to me, as if one of them would have at least apologized right then and there for the mistake that they had made. But instead, the cop was more apologetic for their mistake than versus, because like I said, he's a cop. That's his job, to show up once you're called, but to show up for no reason and have those people just sit there like they did nothing, that was the problem for me.
And you later on met with the bank president. How did it work out where they wanted to meet with you, and then what happened during that meeting?
Well, me and the president of the bank, we actually met the following day. Well, we met the Sunday. we talked the following day, and we met Sunday, a little bit after 12 o'clock, and he wanted to apologize for what had happened, and we just had a conversation that went from, the overall apologetic topic to just trying to see what they can do to help. And I was telling him the work that I do, and the reason I was at the bank cashing the check anyway is so that I can help other young adults that are having issues with their life or don't have access to things. I was just there trying to give back to a community that I really didn't grow up in, but this is where I live now, and I see the effects that society has on some of these kids that aren't fortunate to do things or have the life that they want to live, because as children we didn't ask for what we get when we grow up. So I'm just doing all I can as a personal trainer and, still young adult, just to help others succeed and, be self-empowered, have confidence to just live them lives and not really care about how others feel towards them, to just grow up and be successful. So what he kind of wanted to do was basically just, I feel like he wanted to just see if I was gonna calm down and just let it blow over, but at the same time I'm telling him what I'm doing is for, if you could possibly, see what you could do to try to help that, then I would be okay. But at the same time, your employees put my life in danger because of a judgment of who knows what. But in the end, it comes down to the way that I look, because other than that, I did nothing else to draw a red flag as far as being suspicious, other than the way that I look. So with that being said, you gotta understand that it took everything in me to just stay calm in that situation, knowing that I had just dropped my child off at school, the only child that I do have, not knowing whether or not that was the last time that I saw him, not knowing whether or not I would just be able to continue to live my life or even make it through that moment. So an apology from you, it was accepted, but at the same time, you didn't do this. It was those 3 employees that you had in the bank that should have been the ones apologizing as far as the mistake that they made.
Did he say he was going to take any steps with them, either talk to them or institute new policies or anything like that?
No, none of that was said. It was more along the lines of that they're not at work because of how they feel and things like that. There was no sign of any education towards what happened or any talking to them about maybe they should have done this differently or they should have apologized themselves. None of that was talked about.
So what more would you like from the bank? Is there something that you think that they should be doing?
Other than trying to get me to actually do business with them in the future, there was no talk of them actually trying to help, period, as far as them just volunteering to, I guess, look at what I'm trying to do, the reason why I was at the bank. None of that seemed to matter to them. It was more of just trying to get to the point where if I'm okay with it, they feel like they should be okay with it, because I'm really not sure what they really wanted other than for their name to be cleared of all of this.
To me, it doesn't sound like you're okay with it, though. It sounds like you think there's still something unresolved.
Yeah, there's something unresolved. I was the lucky one this time. People like me don't get lucky all the time in situations like that. So I feel like this was an opportunity for me to try to get something done about it, not just for me, but for other people that are profiled in situations like that. Not just people of color, but people that are profiled because of the way they look, because of the way they live, and just other things that don't make them fit into the occasional society. I want to use this as an opportunity to do what I need to do and help others at the same time, to be able to bring a community together and also take care of its youth at the same time.
Well, this would be a good time then to ask you about the Success for Kids and Families, the Bent Not Broken program, and your Beyond the Gym program. Tell our listeners about that.
Beyond the Gym is something that I actually want to do as a personal trainer that takes working out past just going to a gym and using machines or whatnot. I am also in school right now as a massage therapist, and doing a lot of research, you find that exercise, yoga, and massage therapy are also more beneficial to some aspects of depression, anxiety, body diseases, and they limit these effects more than actual medication. Sometimes even more, because it's not always a problem with the mind. Our bodies do more damage to us than we know because we don't take care of our bodies the way we need to. And I just want to educate each individual in different ways possible to help people. Instead of me teaching people how to take care of themselves, I want to educate people and have them take care of themselves on their own. Be willing to take care of their bodies and just live the way they want to live by, mind, body, and spirit becoming one. Exercising, yoga, massage, all of these things are something that I'm passionate about, and I want to use that as my way to help others. None of these are going to cure cancer, but they can pretty much prevent it, they can limit it, they can expand their life. You can give these kids self-empowerment, confidence, awareness, just the basic needs of being a human and growing up to be successful adults. Because depression and anxiety among kids between the ages of 13 and 18 are 60% to 80% almost never addressed. They're never treated. And these kids grow up with these issues and become the adults that can't function or have to be medicated because they're classified as mentally unstable, when all you had to do was just reach out to them and give them some kind of help and support. So Bent Not Broken is a program that I work with that holds support groups by young adults for young adults, and they just mentor each other, they talk to each other, they help each other any way that they can, and it's a weekly outlet for most of these kids that don't have anywhere else to go.
All right, those were my questions. Is there anything else that our listeners should know about anything that's happened?
Other than that, I have recently started a GoFundMe page for the Bent Not Broken and myself to help get everything situated, because as of right now, things are not looking so good for the program because of, insufficient funds and things like that. So the funds will be used for transportation needs for those without it. It will be used for space rental, equipment, things of that sort, because I'm open to accept all the help that I can get, because this is not about me. At the same time, this is about me being able to do something that a lot of people want to do, a lot of people can do, but at the same time, nobody seems to know how to do it or where to even start. So I just want to be the one that gets it started and just have the community come together as a whole to help its youth succeed and build a better future.
Great. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.